Repeatedly, throughout all of the mythologies of the world, we hear about the giants, men of great stature. In Deuteronomy 9, we read, "A people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak?" Well, all over the world we have giantism. Here's a couple of pictures from the Far East and from China and Manchuria, where we have gigantic beings well in excess of 8 feet. In July 1877, says Charles Berlitz in his book The World of the Odd and Awesome, 4 prospectors moved through along the hills of the Spring Valley near Eureka, Nevada. Using their picks, the prospectors soon chipped out human legs and foot bones that have been encased in solid quartzite. From knee to heel, the bone was 39 inches long. And Valdemar Valerian, in his Matrix 2, he says a human skeleton 17 feet tall was discovered at Garganyan in the Philippines. And in Australia, Rex Gilroy, incredible researcher into this exact field, has discovered remarkable remains of beings that were on this planet of enormous size. You can get into the internet and do a search on Rex Gilroy and study what this man has discovered. In Mesa Verde, in New Mexico, corpses were discovered 9 feet in height, possessing hands of 6 digits. Well, if the myths are right, and if these calamities in the heavens were created by visitors to our planet, we have a question. What's their name and what's their address? Do the myths reveal where these individuals come from or any more information about them? They've been called by many names: Nephilim, Anakim, Annunaki, the fallen angels, the necromancers, the Nagas. The Celtic people referred to them as the Nadreds. And more recently, they've been referred to as the Brotherhood of the Snake or the Serpent People. Cyclopeans and Prometheans, Olympians. One can pick a variety of names depending on what culture you're studying. In the Bible and in the Semitic tradition, they're known as the Nephilim. A word translates as giants, from the root naphal, meaning fallen ones. Most modern translations or versions of the Bible have left this word untranslated. Now, when the Greek Septuagint was made, the Nephilim was retranslated as gegenes, which means the earthborn. The word may also come from nephel, which means bad or strange birth, or from kenephilim, which means the serpents. So there's that serpent connection again. The etymology of Nephilim is uncertain. The following explanations have been advanced with mixed reception. First, it may derive from nifal, of the verb meaning to be extraordinary or extraordinary men. It may be derived from the verb ne nafal or napal, meaning fall or the fallen ones from heaven, i.e. supernatural beings, or could be also morally fallen men. The International Standard Bible Encyclopedia defines it as meaning unnaturally begotten men, or bastards, from nepel, abortion or miscarriage. So actually it doesn't sound very holy when you really get into the etymology of it all. But as I said, one of the terms that's been used by more modern writers like William Bramley and Mark Pinkham is the serpents of wisdom. And given the fact that the serpent is so prevalent on so many places of the world, I mean, the serpent image has appeared in sculptures and in wall reliefs and in paintings in lands where snakes never existed, like Ireland. So how did the people even know to paint a serpent or a snake? And if we look down through history, we see so much usage of the symbol of the serpent. Here in the Hindu Vedic tradition, there's an enormous reliance on the iconography and symbol of the serpent. In Mexico, it adorns the walls of the great temple structures. But here in the Grecian and Latin tradition, We often see hybrid creatures, or we see a human in a conflict situation with a serpent. This kind of entity is called Abraxas, who is the head of a cock, and the tails, the feet, is designed as a serpent motif. This is one of the gods of the ancient world, ancient Europe. Here we have a symbol of the baboon god, who I think is representing the human being, venerating the serpent god, who is, of course, the wise one. And the serpent god is offering the ape-like god or ape-like creature a globe of knowledge. But wherever we look in the world, there's a tremendous prevalence of the serpent motif. Or the coiled serpent, or the intertwined serpents. These are images also on the bottom left there from the Picts of northern Scotland. They also made a lot of use of astronomical symbols. Again, the idea that there's a conflict, that the hero has to go forth and do battle with a dragon or a serpent. I mean, we seem to accept these quite blithely without actually wondering, where did this come from? And here in this picture, you even see the tree. The perennial mythologies of the tree, the female, and the serpent, and the hero doing battle. Here it's more explicit. Here's Zeus with his thunderbolt literally doing battle with a serpent-shaped person. Part man, part serpent. Again, the same thing here. And here in a Roman bas-relief, you can see the same thing happening here of the god. And if you look on the right where it's an enlargement of this, you'll see that the man is depicted as having the feet of a serpent. In the Native American Indian culture, we not only find images on the walls of the great mesas, we not only find beings of great stature, but again, we always find the symbols of the serpent or the twin serpent. Native American Indian culture is, of course, replete with the serpent, and there's really been no satisfactory explanation of these images, of these strange beings, or of the serpents that are in close proximity. But sure enough, here they are. All over the Native American lands, especially of the higher, more advanced Native American Indian cultures, there's enormous emphasis on that. And as I said, the names of cherubim and seraphim actually represent, they actually come from the words flaming or fiery serpents. But angels, as we know them today, later in Judeo-Christianity, they were always showed anthropomorphically, meaning with a human form. But they originate from the more Middle Eastern, Mesopotamian, Sumerian, Babylonian. They were never shown as a human. They were always shown as theriomorphic, with the head of an animal or like a bird. Now, Serapis, one of the most revered gods of Roman times and Grecian times, this Greek god was a personification of Osiris and was the basis of Jesus Christ. The word Serapis comes from seraphim, which meant shining serpent. In fact, even the word Hellenes, which is how the Greeks referred to themselves, they weren't called Greeks, they knew themselves as the Hellenes, also means the shining ones.